Hello and welcome to episode 59 of 15K Plus Random Movie Reviews, the podcast where we take a random movie from Metacritic's all-time movie list to review and complain about. This week, it's random movie number 1282.
Hey.
It's 1002. It's The Deep Blue Sea from 2012,
Yes.
not Deep Blue Sea from 99.
There are zero, count them, zero sharks in this movie.
Yes. This is Colin, by the way.
And this is Niall.
And so we have this movie. It's got a Metascore of 82 and a user score of 6.3. So, this is our 59th episode. My alarm bells and my spidey senses always go off when the Metascore has got a little bit of a difference to the user score.
Yeah.
User score are real people. Metascore are failed authors being journalists.
Harsh, but fair.
Yeah. Runs for 1 hour and 38 minutes. I thought written by Terence Davies. I thought that the name sounded familiar, and he wrote Goodbye, Mr. Chips with our friend Peter O'Toole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that's about it. But I thought he was more famous than my brain thought he was. What else to say about this movie before we crack into the gory details? I'll tell you what, we'll go through the summary that Music Box Films themselves, the production company, put out about it, and then I want to just stop after every sentence to sort of explain why it doesn't explain the movie. Hester Collier, the wife of a high court judge, is a free spirit trapped in a passionless marriage. Okay, so I don't think we get Rachel Weisz being a free spirit at all, really, during the movie. Like, even in the flashback scenes where she's married, she's downtrodden and depressed. We don't get, apart from the scenes where she's with Freddie, cavorting with him, canoodling with him, we don't get the sense, we don't get this exposition that she's this free spirit. We definitely get the passionless marriage, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, there's misery and then there's kind of being normal, but free spirit, maybe that she doesn't behave like her husband's mum. I don't know.
She's a piece of work.
She's lovely.
Every mother-in-law. Not really.
Just in case our mother-in-laws are listening.
Yeah, they're not. So the second sentence, her encounter with Freddie Page, a troubled former Royal Air Force pilot, throws her life in turmoil as their erotic relationship leaves her emotionally stranded and physically isolated. First of all, I'm going to stress the troubled bit for the former Royal Air Force pilot. Never in a million years did I get troubled from...
He had one brief outburst in the museum, which I found quite funny, actually.
It was hilarious, and I don't know if it was intentionally funny.
It's amazingly funny. I loved it.
But I'm going to use that.
The Impressionists!
I'm going to use that anytime I'm leaving a bad situation.
I'm off
to the Impressionists.
It is a great line. I loved it.
But I really want to know if it was meant to be funny or it was just stupid. Because it's really stood out for me because it's not a funny movie. There's no joke things. No. And it was seriously played as well. He was angry. Yeah, and she was upset. And he stormed off. And it wasn't humorous. And it was so bad, it was funny.
I was wetting myself at this point.
That was so funny. I loved it.
Listen, it's not a funny movie. They're two very serious actors. He's not a comedic. Well, I'll take that back. He has had some comedic turns with shows like Loki.
He plays the same wide-mouthed, British-voiced person.
He is a 1950s character in my head, always. Even before this movie. He fits that.
Yeah, he belongs in that decade.
He does. He's kind of out of time. So, he's kind of a good choice for this. I won't go into my opinions of the movie just yet, but
the next bit of the thing is it throws her life into turmoil as their erotic relationship leaves her emotionally stranded and physically isolated. Now, okay, if you put erotic relationship into a summary of a movie, you expect Basic Instinct, Fatal Attraction, whatever, 7 Days, 7 Nights, all those bloody movies.
You see their bums once.
That's it in a nutshell. Good night, everybody.
2 bums. Erotic.
And here's the deal. Leaves her emotionally stranded and physically isolated. Now, this basically is one weekend where he forgets the birthday, and obviously she obviously feels like he doesn't really love her, blah blah blah. But basically, it's he goes off golfing one weekend, and that's the entire movie is based around this weekend with flashbacks, and leaves her emotionally stranded and physically isolated. It's one
Yeah.
instance. It's a drama made out of absolutely nothing.
It is, and it's a drama based on her choices. She's never restricted in what she can do. She has a choice. She has a choice to leave her husband. She has a choice to go with Freddie. She has a choice to stay with either of them. And it's all down to what she wants to do. And that's not restriction. That's self-imposed restriction.
Yeah, and you don't feel any emotional support for her or any emotional inclination towards caring about this character at all.
I was 2 minutes in when I wrote down selfish bitch. When she was cranking up the gas in a house with other people in it.
Yeah, lots of different apartments in the house. There's one more sentence of the summary.
Somebody just smokes outside and the whole place goes kaboomies.
Well, we'll get to that in a second. The last sentence is nearly abandoned by Freddie. All right, so he abandons her over a weekend where it's her birthday. Hester attempts to win him back through a desperate gesture. This only serves to estrange her more from the men in her life and reality itself. Now, when we read the summary last week...
What was a desperate gesture? What was a desperate gesture? Gesture. Oh, God damn, I can't speak, but I don't see it. Gesture. The thing she did.
She tried to top herself at the start. That was
but she didn't want him to know about it.
Well, she left a note.
Yeah, but she stuck it in her own pocket. He nicked it out of her pocket when he was looking for some
cigarettes. It's addressed to me. But like this summary is shockingly bad for Music Box Films because it's Hester attempts to win him back. No, she attempted to kill herself.
Yeah, you don't win anything with that. There's no prizes there.
No.
Apart from oblivion.
And that when I read the summary last week and reality itself, I thought, oh, maybe there'll be some illusions, maybe some, just horror type things to this where the reality is warped a bit. No. She thinks a lot about the past. That's about it.
Yeah, it's a constantly in flashback.
Yeah, I really, really am not going to get into every scene in this movie. That's because basically, and I'll tell you what. So it starts off with she's reading out her suicide note, and it's so slow and long to start, and it's fading in and out.
So many violins.
Oh, the violins, and it's fading in and out like a bad PowerPoint presentation. It's the transitions. The transitions just keep coming.
Yeah,
she's
unnecessary.
She's setting the room up to kill herself.
She could have thrown in some Comic Sans while she was at it.
Yeah, and so like she's popping pills and she's setting the gas, and we get a flashback to when she's with an older dude. We have no clue who that older dude is yet. We've got a flashback to her smiling with attractive bloke Tom Hiddleston. And then we have
Freddie.
The one erotic moment where they're in bed and we see bums. 10 minutes in, the violins stop. 10 fucking minutes.
It was too much. It reminds me of that the scene in Silence of the Lambs where she's going on about the screaming of the lambs. This is the same to me. It just doesn't bloody stop. Stop the violins.
Hang on a sec.
Feckers.
What the hell are you saying? Are you dissing that part of Silence of the Lambs?
No, that's really good. That's really poignant. This needed to stop. Same as in Silence of the Lambs. She really wanted the lambs to shut the farm.
Oh, right. Okay, I get you. The start actually made me laugh because it reminded me of Metroland's slow start, the way the camera came in from the road into the top window.
And there's a lot to be said in parallel.
True.
With both these terrible movies.
True. Yeah. Anyway, there's 2 times I laughed actually in this movie. One, the impressionist one later on, but the other one, the next morning when the dude comes in and he goes, "Oh, I'm not a doctor." That's from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Thank you, doctor. Oh, I'm not a doctor. Take 10 of these pills, 10 of these, and 10 of these. Thank you, doctor. Oh, I'm not a doctor.
Yeah, it was pretty much like that. It's never explained either. He's just some lad who turns up and injects her with some shit.
Yeah, he's already got a dressing gown on. He's like, I thought, oh, I'm a vet or something. I thought that he was going to turn around and say,
Yeah,
oh,
that's
I'm
what
a
I was
vet.
expecting, but no, he's just some guy who happens to have a bunch of trucks in his house.
Or just, I don't know, he just reads a lot of medical books or something. What I found hilarious was she goes back down to her gaseous room and lights a cigarette up.
Yeah.
That was
You don't
funny.
even see them cracking the window.
No, it's pure gas in there. It should explode and the movie should be over.
Oh, God, that would have been so much better.
That would have been great. I
That
think
would
they
have been
should
great.
make, I think there should be a new genre where there are basically movies set up and they just finish after 15 minutes. I think that should be a new thing. I think that should happen. I know there's
Roald
short
Dahl's,
stories.
I've done a very good job of that.
Yeah, but I want like really abrupt endings. I don't want like a full story
No
done
closure.
in 20 minutes.
Zero closure.
Zero closure. Like this one would be just the house exploding from the outside.
Oh, I'm really sad and I'm feeling depressed. Kaboom! Movie's over.
So then
You don't
maybe
even get full 10 minutes of violence.
no. Then maybe Mrs. Elton comes out of the fucking front door covered in soot and black and goes,
Where's me washboard? Sorry.
Anyway,
Anyway.
what do we get? We get a flash. We get constant flashbacks. Tom Hiddleston and his buddy are asshats. They're in a pub
Oh,
and
it's
better
so
times, and they're
annoying.
doing impersonations of the army. Something I hated.
Oh, look, I'm into Davy now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Feck off.
Yeah. Blah blah blah. Rachel goes to the priest. He says, "Go back to your husband, you slut." He doesn't say slut, but he wants
Yeah.
to, but he can't because he's a priest. Priest, fucking priest.
Where's your God now, priest?
Yeah.
It's just weird.
So when I lost the will to live was the mumsy scene. So the
Oh.
old guy with the beard is her husband. Like we find that out soon. He's such a wimp. But
William,
William or Bill when she wants to call
when
him
she
his
wants
nickname.
something, yeah.
Yeah. I liked him near the end of the movie. He was a hapless sort, but that's when he's with his mumsy, he's terrible. He's terrible, and the mumsy is terrible, trying to bait her and everything.
Yeah, that's the only time I felt sympathy towards her character was when she was interacting with his mumsy.
Yeah.
She's
says
obnoxious.
Yeah, she was
wench,
obnoxious.
really.
And I know Terence Radigan and whoever wrote this with him, we're trying to make this the whole sort of, well, she's an asshole to her, but she's a bit of a sage. So because she says, oh, passion leads to ugly, she's trying to tell her, hey, don't fuck around here and mess around with other lads with my son around, you wench.
Yeah, that she never comes across as sage, though. She comes across as a fingernail wagon.
Wagon wheel. Yeah, and the tea time thing, Jesus Christ, it was so annoying.
Oh no, that scene killed me.
Yeah.
She put milk in first. What the fuck?
She did it on purpose to mess around with the mumsy.
God, that's when my sympathy for her dies. You put milk in first in the tea. You should burn in hell.
Yeah. Anyway, she goes upstairs and calls Tim or Tom. Oh, darling. And then obviously Will is behind her and goes, oh, there's somebody else called darling. Then I guess this means what I think it means. Hey up, this is strange.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah. So we get to the, William doesn't want to divorce her. And
well, this scene is horrible because they're in the car.
Yeah.
With Finton, the driver.
Flitton.
Flitton, is it? I just feel sorry for him because he sat there going, right, this is awkward. Yeah.
You never see him.
You never see him, but I can put myself in his boots and I'm like, oh God.
No.
I would not drive for these guys.
Yeah, so we never see the driver, and she's like going, listen, I'll make your life a living hell. I'm going to bloody not divorce you ever.
Yeah. And he says, listen, I'm getting out here. Driver, take her wherever she wants to go. I'll never see you again.
Yeah. Chara, Chuck.
Yeah. I can't particularly blame him. She's been doing the dirt and he's like, jog on.
Yeah, but she moves into a shithole. And then we basically do a hard skip to the present day, and we don't really realize it until we see a
Yes, the
silhouette of her in the
transitions
window.
are very jarring, and they're not they're not obvious. And sometimes
No.
it took me a few seconds to figure out, is it now when she's depressed, or is it now she's having the fun times with Freddy? I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on.
Well, it jumps really from them moving into the place, and then it jumps to her in her dressing gown from present day at the window, and then he comes in from the golfing weekend, and this is the main nucleus of the script and the movie, and it lasts forever. And uh, he's fucking he's having a great time. He's telling her all about the weekend. She's depressed, and he just realizes, oh yeah, I forgot your birthday. Oops.
Whoops, Daisy.
Tries to get a bit of a canoodle, finds the letter, and goes, "What the fuck?" and runs out the door. I don't want to spend too much more time describing the scene.
Yeah, like, I don't know if I blame him, but it's a topping
weird.
yourself or attempting to top yourself because somebody forgot your birthday is maybe an overreaction.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and I hadn't, up until this point, it wasn't obvious why she had tried to kill herself to start the movie.
Yeah, but
and
thankfully,
then sympathy is absolutely destroyed because what?
Thankfully, William appears at the door. Before that, we get a lingering, slow shot of her trying to put her clothes on. That's what the director felt we needed to see.
Yes.
Just
going to chase after Freddy out the door.
Yeah. William comes in, and then we get a bit more. Like, he's skirting around the bloody. It's a boring conversation, but he's like, he finally gets her. Why did you do it? And she's going, oh, anger, shame, regret. And we find out as well in this conversation, it's been 10 months. It's just been 10 months, for God's sake.
Yeah.
And we also find out that Bill knows Page as well. Mr. Page, Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, that was not obvious at all up to this point either.
Give us a bit more of that. Why don't you do a flashback when they're together, and then we get the exposition of how they met. Maybe she met when they're all together in one big group, and that adds a bit more spice to it. Like he was there when they met. Yeah, I'm telling you, I know how to fix movies.
To be honest, there's no fixing this one. It's just a boring concept to begin with, poorly executed. And listen, I actually don't. I do rate both the main actors here. I don't think anybody could have saved the script.
No, there were so many scenes just spread out. Now, I'll get to the point in a second. Bill remembers her birthday. That's another kudos for Bill. She runs to the pub to chase after Tom, right? That's 47 minutes into the movie. We've got roughly 50 minutes left.
Still no sharks.
This was the time I sped up the movie to 2x speed.
Oh, did you?
I did. I had
unfortunately, the site I had didn't have a speed up button because I went looking for it.
Yeah, this was the moment because the scene, it just showed her taking so long to get to the pub, and then I wrote down, so she finds him and they go outside. It's Freddy and his buddy, and I wrote down Freddy got fingered for some reason because just because she's after him and he's going, yeah, she wanted to kill herself. How can I be with her?
There's another good line here. What was it? Oh yes, when he gets the I wrote the damn thing down. Not South America. Oh yes. Oh, give me a shilling there, buddy. Yeah. And throws it at her. It's for the gas meter, in case I'm late for supper.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit interesting. Bit callous.
Very callous. And for that, I was kind of chuckling because at this point, I wanted everybody dead.
I love the fact his idiotic, stupid friend, when he goes back into the pub to get fucking more sloshed, the stupid friend goes over to him and goes, at least it stopped raining.
Yes.
Oh, thanks a lot. That helps me after my suicide attempt and my boyfriend really dumping me. This is when we get the gallery flashback. So it's cultured person versus childish person. It really just goes for like a minute. It's not even a very long scene, but it's the funniest part of the movie where he gets angry because she's basically calling him an idiot.
Yeah, and in fairness, that's a reason to get angry because she does straight up call him an idiot.
Yeah. Anybody then he utters the if you know your Vietnam movies, FUBAR.
Yep. Effed up beyond all recognition, baby.
Yeah. He storms off. Where are you going? To the Impressionists.
Now, in fairness, there's also another follow-up line that's was it attempted being funny, and it kind of elicited a
Yes.
slight tweak of my lips.
Yeah.
So the next scene where they're getting back together and they're being friends again in their his apartment or their apartment is he says, "I only did it for the money." That's the joke, you see.
Tumbleweed.
Yeah. No, they were better off just leaving them screaming about impressionists.
Yeah, definitely. But he probably felt he was on a roll, Terence, and said, "Oh, that was funny in the last one. I'll follow it up with a dad joke."
Yeah.
The pub is singing "You Belong to Me" from Shrek, which was interesting. They knew that was going to be famous from Shrek.
1950s Shrek.
Yeah. I like the version of Shrek better.
Yeah.
So it's just another flashback of them pub and dancing, blah, blah, blah. Back to present day, she's phoning Liz, and there's another flashback. She goes down to the metro and maybe decides, she might jump in front of the train, but then it flashes back to Molly Malone being sung in during the war. Then it flashes back to her.
Yeah. I don't understand the point of this flashback.
No, I don't.
And it's overly long, and most of it doesn't contain any of the main actors other than like 3 seconds where she's standing beside her husband.
Yeah. It's
a nice scene as a flashback to the war, which is kind of the backdrop to this movie, but it has no punch to it. It doesn't fit.
No, it doesn't add anything to the story. It's like, okay, during the war, you sheltered together, and some Irish immigrants sang Molly Malone.
Yeah, like I would have much preferred if they were a bit heavier on the post-war scenario and the depression that came from that. But it really doesn't, because that's an interesting thing to investigate. This subject, not so much.
Yeah, but also, like, she went down to the metro. Why? I thought, okay, we're going to get a very maybe we'll get quite a well-produced shot here of her contemplating, will she, won't she, will she jump, will she not jump? But no, we just get a flashback immediately. Then she comes back to reality after her daydream.
I don't get that. I don't get the point of it. It feels like filler. Maybe they wanted to introduce something from the Second World War into it and how it was during the Blitz, but it just feels like it's tacked on.
Yeah, like if you're going to flashback, well, let us know how nice William and Hester's relationship was before Fred came along. Like, that's never evolved, so we don't really care that she's had an affair. We don't know Fred's troubled past. He's just drunk and jovial all the time.
It never goes into the PTSD that he's supposed to be experiencing.
No, there's no backstory or exposition to make us care enough that these things are happening. Anyway, she's heading home, and William is there, gives her a gift for birthday, and then Freddie comes along steaming drunk, blah, blah, blah. He's acting the maggot, as we say. I think Bill's kind of going, you can come back with me, and she's going, nah, it's all right.
Yeah. Yeah, and in fairness, that's the only thing I like about this movie is that she doesn't get back with Bill, because that would have been a dick move.
Formulaic.
Very formulaic. I'm happy that doesn't happen. Now, that's about the only thing I'm happy for out of this.
I actually will mention the next scene as something that could have meant something if the movie was plotted correctly. Yeah, so she goes back home because Fred has just ran up to their apartment, and the landlady comes out to talk to her, just saying, hey, don't fucking do that shit again. But her husband's dying in bed, basically, and you go in and see her, and she's taking care of him, and his photo is on the bedside of him as a young Marine or Navy or something.
First World War photo from the Navy.
Or Second World War, I'm guessing, maybe. I don't know.
Well, he's a bit old for that.
He's older, true, yeah. So she's like going, listen, killing yourself is nobody's worth that. You know what love is? Love is changing.
Wiping somebody else's arse.
Wiping somebody's arse and cleaning the bed sheets after they've pissed themselves.
And she's not wrong.
Not wrong at all. It's like
obviously there are other elements to love. It doesn't start with wiping arses.
It's not in sickness and in sickness.
True. But it is an important point to it.
Well, that's the reality of it, isn't it?
Yeah, you get older. And you poop yourself and then somebody has to wipe it.
Yeah. Anyway.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, this is another thing that pisses me off. So that was okay. Actually, I thought that was fine.
That was a good scene. I wrote down here that the landlady is the only person I like.
She's a good character, actually. Yeah. She turned her head to her not being married to him too. There's a flashback at some point. Here. Yeah, just keep yourself to yourself, love.
Yep.
She goes up and I hate the fact that Freddy is completely sober now.
Yes, he's reasonable. He's suddenly calm, and he goes from being absolutely shit-faced to calm. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Like, I want him to be roaming around the fucking room, smashing into things, saying...
It's been 5 minutes. You don't instant sober in 5 minutes.
No. That's like, come on, let's make this a bit more dramatic, because the entire movie has been people just sitting talking to each other.
Somebody gets stabbed. That's how this should end.
Yeah, get your golf clubs.
I love you so much, Freddy. Stab, stab, stab.
Yeah, just get your golf clubs and smash the apartment up.
Yeah. Make it interesting.
Yeah.
Emote, anyway. Damn it.
Yeah, emote. Put some emotion into it. He's like, oh yeah, I got a job in South America. And she stupidly goes, when do we go?
Yeah. No, we don't, my dear.
We don't, it's over.
Don't bother.
It ended today. She makes him stay. She makes him stay the night. And boring talk in the morning. Do you have your breakfast? Let me clean those shoes. This is the fucking dialogue we get all fucking movie.
You want some Battenberg?
I love Battenberg.
Love Battenberg, I do. No, it's miserable.
They say goodbye, and he keeps on saying shit to her. Just say goodbye and get the hell out of there.
Yeah,
goodbye, I'll miss you.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I miss you too. Thank you. Oh, thank you too.
Thank you too. It was like Hermione and Helena's dialogue.
Yeah, was it worse? No,
it wasn't worse.
No, nothing's worse than that. No. Now she lights up the stove again. Well, she turns the stove on. I'm like, oh, she's actually going to do it.
Go on.
Yeah. No, but then she actually lights it for warmth.
Yeah. And, then it repeats the intro scene. It basically goes from her window in reverse, back down to the street. And like, for some reason, it goes to the barricades and some broken down houses. Like, going, what's going on? Why are we zooming into that? What's happening? Who's going to emerge from that?
To remind you, it's just after the war. That's it.
It's 5 years after the war. They've cleaned the shit up.
Lazy feckers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's over now, which is actually the best part of the movie.
Yeah. It was. I tried to do it 3 times speed, but I just couldn't catch up with the dialogue, so I had to put it back to 2 times speed. Now, I've got a really, there's a trend in these movies that really don't have a lot happening. They tend to just draw out the scenes a lot when there's no dialogue.
So much violin.
Yeah, but they set up the scene visually and they just keep it there. They hold it. And they keep going some more, and then, it's annoying to me that movies sort of pad the spaces a bit. Michael O'Sullivan in the Washington Post gave it 38. He says, the story is maddeningly oblique and incomplete, despite pain, what at times it feels like excruciating attention to the minutiae of dying love affair's final hours. So he's kind of getting to what we're saying.
Bang on, really. That is, I guess, what they were trying to get at. It's the grief and the loss of an end of a love affair. Fair enough. But it doesn't need to be so drawn out
or boring.
It's so boring.
Yeah, but Lisa Schwartzbaum, Black Tree, in Entertainment Weekly gave it 100
because she was taking crack cocaine.
Speed. In this typically exquisite, nuanced, memory-infused work from master British filmmaker Terence Davies, we believe every minute of the torment of Hester.
Twaddle. I do have one other review I'd like to mention.
Oh, yeah.
Bill from YouTube says, I'm 60 minutes in, still no sharks. Not worth the wait.
No, I will tell you a story about Deep Blue Sea, which is infinitely better than this movie. It came out in 1999, and I skipped a lecture in college to go to for a couple of my buddies back then. We used to go to a movie every week, basically, if not two. And
Instead
I remember
of going to class.
exactly, and that and mini golf, pitch and putt. I mean, um, yeah, I remember this movie. I thought it was entertaining at the time, and I remember Samuel Jackson's scene going, "Oh yeah, this is a nice
So good.
speech." Chomp. I thought, damn,
one of
that's
the
amazing.
best twists in a movie ever, because it's so unpredictable. Like, it just happens, and it's Sam Jackson getting chomped.
One of the big stars.
Main guy, you know.
Yeah. It also brought Saffron Burrows to our screens as well for a few movies, I guess. So it's also a good reason to like the movie.
You've got a Skarsgård in there.
Oh, you do?
I think it's, I can't remember what his Daddy Skarsgård's called. One of the Skarsgård. Daddy, anyway, not the young fellas.
Yeah. Anyway, back to The Deep Blue Sea. I'm giving the plot 0.25. It's a little bit better than Hernia. And Helena.
No, it's got a new title, which is substantially more accurate.
Better. Gave me a hernia.
Yeah, I give it a 1. I have no idea why I gave it a 1. I think I'm going to stick with a 1 just because.
I don't know why either.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't want to think too much about it, maybe.
Yeah.
1. Screw it.
Yeah. Acting, because I don't know. I gave it 2.5. I can't. It's fine. They're not bad actors. Even the actor who plays Bill plays it to a T. And the mumsy is horrible, and she plays it well. And Mrs. Elliot or someone, the landlady, Elton, she was good too. So I'm giving an average acting score. That'll be my highest.
I actually gave it a 3. I thought the acting was quite good. They had absolute drivel to work with, is the problem. But the pieces that they tried to hit home with, there was like, I know that Rachel Weisz is known for terrible movies like The Mummy and stuff like that.
Well, The Mummy's not bad.
It's not great.
It's good action.
It's good action, but she's done, like, I loved her in Constantine, so I think she's quite a good actress. And Tom Hiddleston, like, I don't know if you've seen The Night Manager, he's fantastic in that.
No.
So he's got chops, and he's good enough in this, but the dialogue's not great. The bits that he hits with, specifically, I'm often impressionists. Gold. I give it 3. I'm trying to explain why I gave it 3, but I'll stick with it.
You failed miserably.
I failed.
Yeah. Listen, the soundtrack, the 10 minutes of violence at the start.
Violence.
I hated it.
That's what I call that. Not violence. Violence.
It does have Shrek, and it does have Molly Malone, but I gave it 0.5 because it sucked.
Yeah, that's what I give it. It was an absolute assault in the first 10 minutes. After that, there was no redeeming it.
No. Production, I'm going to give it 1.5, and I'm giving all the 1.5 to the actual setting, the scenery, the set design. Obviously, when you're doing a 50s thing, just like Metroland did it in the 60s or whatever, making it look real and thing, it looked quite good. It set its tone. I'm not giving it any more because they actually greenlit the script and thought it was good to do it. So 1.5 for me.
It's just being petty about it.
Yeah.
The other stuff, I give it 2. I had originally wrote down 2.5, but I've marked it back down again after talking about it. Because I'm being petty as well. As you say, it's pretty decent production. It correctly describes 1950s London. What more can you say? Nothing more. And then we don't have to talk about this movie ever again until next episode.
I'm definitely sure we're going to reference. I'm going on to the Impressionists. I'm off to the Impressionists at some point later on in our life, and maybe even in later episodes.
I'm going off to the pub and start screaming at people.
Yeah. Well, let's go off to the Impressionists now after this episode and call it a day here. We will not be picking a random movie.
Only do it for the money.
Yeah, certainly not this. No random movie, because next episode is episode 60, where we have the delightful task of recapping all our movies, including this one from 51 to 59. So whatever platform you're listening to us, make sure you subscribe and maybe share it or like it or do whatever you can to spread the word around about our podcasts. So we'll see you in episode 60 for the recap. Bye-bye.
Ta-ra, Chuck.